Today we are going to be starting a new siman Taf Ayin Test, and the topic of this siman is going to be the third course. We know we have 4 cups of wine on the Seder, so this topic is going to be talking about the third. We're going to start today's session with this Torah over here. The Torah starts off siman Taf Ayin Test by saying the Acher Kach Moizgin Loi Koi Shlishi. But afterwards, you pour the third course. Okay. Now, this third cup of wine that we're going to have over here, that's the one that we bench on. This person should recite the bracha b'ri pri hagafen. This is after benching, he does this. And then he drinks it while reclining. Now, it should be noted that the Torah does not say that you say the bracha while you're reclining. You don't say the bracha while you're reclining. Rather, what you're doing over here, and you're saying the bracha while in a stationary position, and then you recline afterwards when you drink the actual wine itself. You do not make the bracha afterwards according to the Rosh. According to the Rosh, you do not recite a bracha achrona after. It's interesting that he says according to the Rosh because really we hold, pretty much everyone holds that you don't say a bracha after. The reason is because you're going to shortly be drinking the 4th cup, of course, after. And if a person drank the wine without reclining, okay, person drank it without reclining, you have to drink it again without reclining. And this topic is coming up tangentially as a tangent over here in the siman. The main place is not in the siman, it's Taf Ayin Beis, so we're not going to get a deep dive on that. Should be pointed out that there are recordings that are available about these topics on rabbiblond.com under the Mishnah Brewer section in siman 472, as well as if you look at the Gemara section and go all the way down to the Iyun about reclining on Pesach. There were 5 shiurim, each 1 hour, about reclining on the Gemara as to why we have to recline for all 4. If you didn't, all of the 5 hours of shiurim there. If you want to really, if you really want to enjoy and understand what reclining is about, because there we really went into it big time over there. Anyways, so this is the idea with the third course. The Torah continues and says, "V'lo yishte yayin beino ubein kos revi." You're not allowed to drink wine between the third course, third cup of wine that you're going to have at the Seder, and the 4th. Now, we have to figure out, obviously, the reason why you're not allowed to drink. And if that reason would apply to other beverages. Whenever you see a statement like this in Hilchos, in the halachas of the Seder, you always have to ask yourself, okay, does this apply exclusively to wine? What about the hard alcohol? What about regular non-alcoholic beverages? You always have to ask yourself that question. And then another question that we have to figure out is, okay, so you're not allowed to drink wine. What about if you didn't finish your 3rd cup? Could you keep going at it? Meaning you drink most of it, you have a little bit left. We'd say that no, once you keep moving on in the Seder, then you could no longer drink from that cup or not. So these are questions which very few properly learn about and figure out the answer to. But we're going to try to cover that over here. And that's why these notes, I still got to write up some Tuf Mem Hey and Tuf Ayin Dalet. I don't think I did those, but that's why those notes eventually, once they're typed, then they can be incorporated also into the Haggadah notes, because these sorts of halachas, a lot of times in your average Haggadah, even when they tell you the brief halachas, it's very brief. It's a couple sentences, but I'm not afraid to put more than a couple sentences, and all of these types of halachas, you have to put all of these questions that we just asked, whatever the answers are that we're going to discover, right? Meaning, Either I know the answers and I don't want to tell everyone to keep everyone in suspense, or maybe I just don't know the answers, right? So whatever it is, we're going to find out these answers. And once we do, those have to be written down and have to be added so that we know what we can and cannot do. Because a lot of people, they're really blindfolded going into this Haggadah, so to say, in terms of some halachic perspective, halachically blindfolded. That's an issue. The Torah then says yet again another halacha, u'mitzvah lechazer acher hazimin. There's a mitzvah at this point to try to get a zimun. Three men. Now, what is the Torah referring to over here? When is there a mitzvah to get the three men over the above the age of 13 to get that zimun? Zimun is usually only used in hilchos benching. We're talking about the third cup, which already came after the benching. So does the Torah mean for benching, or does it mean for after benching? Now, how do you have a zimun after benching? V'achit mar b'midrash. Tell him, this is what it says in the midrash. Hakoydem es ahalel sarach shiyah shloisha. Oh, people who are saying Hallel, you need to have three people. So you could argue the other side, even though most wouldn't even think that that's the explanation of this Torah. Perhaps it is. You need three people, preferably. You should have three men over the age of bar mitzvah. 13. Shia echad oimer l'shnayim hodu. One person says to the other two, he says the hodu. That way you could do a hodu after each one, and you could go with the whole repeating situation. Because of Adoni Avi, Hadrash, and the Rosh says, Veloy nahagu kein. The custom is not that way. Vimishum hodu loimer b'shleisho. You'll say, wait a second, but you need three to say hodu. No. Sagi be'ishto ubanav she'yilachenech. It's enough if you have your wife and children who reach the age of chenach, of education. All right? So that's interesting in terms of why that would count. They wouldn't need to be bar mitzvahs. You could just rely on your kids to count and you could do it, but I'll have to figure that out over there. The Bach starts off the siman on the right side by saying, Sarach sheyesh shtifa v'hadacha. Okay? It's actually straight out of the Shiles and Chuvas Marshal. It's in Peiches. Shlomo Luria says you have to do shtifa v'hadacha. What's shtifa v'hadacha?
Inside out.
Right, an internal and an external washing of the cup that you drink from. Now, the obvious question is, okay, we had the first two kosos. No, there's still a little wine remnants, residue inside. Maybe it overpoured on the saucer, also because you had right? You had the makos dam, so you dipped some out. But the question is, how much time has it been since your second coast? Right? How much time lapsed? I'm saying, right?
Since the second coast could be like an hour.
Okay. So how dirty would it be if you pour the exact same wine in that coast, and especially on the outside? I understand an internal washing. How do you reconcile though an external washing?
Special office by kosher bracha.
Right. So it's a general halacha in general. And the reason is because you haven't used that coast in a couple days. And now, if you don't wash it, it's going to be very dirty. But over here, it's a small amount of time.
Technically, now you drink when it's pogrom, right? It's pogrom whatever remnants are in there.
Yeah, but when you pour more yayin in, then it becomes not pagam anymore. Right? So we have to try to figure out exactly what the shtifa and hadacha is really, what's the essence of this washing over here?
What you got to do by every coast?
Every coast? Well, right now we're learning the third coast.
Okay.
My knowledge is correct. It's a specific halacha by the third coast because there was maybe some more time, but we'll have to see when we do learn the first ones. I don't remember what the shiurim I gave 10 years ago exactly on this specific point, but the recordings are there. The recordings are there as proof that we did it. Now, see, Yitzhahar. Now they call me back. Okay. Calling them for days. Now they call me back. Straight up Yitzhahar. No other answer. V'af mi v'hadocha v'zeu das achroinim. That's what the achroinim hold over here. V'af mi shaloi nizar. I'm calling twice. Getting frisky today. And even someone who's not careful, kol hashana. Even someone who's not careful with it the whole year. Im roya shakos naki. The guy, he does a visual observation that the cup is clean. Visually sees it. People aren't careful. Achayim b'zeh halayla yilizar b'yoyis. Oh, but on the Seder night, you have to be extra careful. Kedei lahadeh ha-mitzvah yemali ha-kois l'birchas hamazon. In order that you'll be careful to perform the mitzvah, and you'll fill up the kos for benching. V'yavora chabala bais ma'atzma. And the malabais will make the bracha himself. All right, the rest of that forget about. But the idea is that the Bach over here, the Marshal, they're coming on to something, which is the idea that the Seder night is different, and therefore, the truth of the matter is this is a common theme throughout the entire Seder, without going from the beginning of the Haggadah to the end. Just very briefly, we find in other instances, such as washing before karpas, davar shetibulu amashka, we find that people a lot of times throughout the rest of the year. How many times do you ever hear of a person, they dip cookies in milk? They wash an apple and it's still wet.
Yeah.
They take a pickle out of the jar. How many people wash their hands before?
You're supposed to, right?
I do.
When I wash my grapes at night,
Yes.
how many times does the Rav wash his hands when he does that? 3 or 1?
Just one. You don't even need a clean, yeah.
Because I've washed my grapes and then with the water from the grapes, I wash my hands.
Yeah. You could do that. Remember, if it's all dry, you don't need to wash.
No, but
Correct. So your hands are into the sink. But how many
You
people
wash your hands.
how many people before they eat a pickle,
wash their hands.
not with the suda that they wash for anyway, so they didn't make a bracha of hamotzi.
They're using a fork and knife.
Okay, so if you're using a fork and knife, you have the derech. But how many people are using a fork and knife when they're dipping and cooking in milk? What? How many? I'll answer it. Zilch.
So technically, that's
Right?
like cereal and milk.
So cereal and milk, you have the spoon, so it's fine because you're not going to touch it, right? But these other items. Oh, but how many people don't wash at the Seder for orchatz before they eat their karpas? How many people don't wash? The answer is none. Exactly. Because the Seder, we do things, even people who aren't careful with it the rest of the year, they do it in the Seder.
This is the thing, when he says
Yeah.
balabais, we're talking about benching, right?
Yeah. That's we're gonna see it's gonna come up that specifically the balabais should lead the benching, and we'll see usually the guest lead. Yeah, correct. Okay. Another Bach which I thought would be worthwhile to share and go through over here is this next one. It says if you drink the cup without reclining, you need to go back again. But it seems from the Rosh in his conclusion, all of the 4 cups you need to return and drink while you recline. If you didn't, it's a whole discussion, like I said. Another siman about Mordechai and the Baile, Bakol Arba Koisus Venira, Beinai, Thing Lachser Velicious Baseba Kolikir Kevin and Mordechai and Baile. Maybe you don't need to go back. The Mordechai isn't sure about this. There's a Rav Yah that says that in our lands we don't need to recline. Again, siman Tafai and Bei Shaila. This is just a brief discussion about it over here. You want to look at it more, siman 472, comma 2 on rabbiblon.com under the Mission Bro Halacha section. There is an interesting shaila, which I'll just throw out. The person benched on the Seder, but he didn't say Yalav Yava. Right?
You have to go back.
So you got to go back. The question is, let's say the fellow, he remembered after he already drank the 3rd kos. So now the question is, when you go back to bench again and say Yalav Yavo, do you need to now have your third course again or not?
Gut reaction would be no.
So this is actually a major discussion in Poiskim, major machlokes.
It's really major.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Because it's always saying it's
If you
ma'ake.
look at the Dirsha Mishnah Brew, you'll see they
We're saying the
bring
benching is ma'ake the coast.
that you need the coast for the benching, perhaps. So that's the way it's established. Seder night, or maybe no. It's just that they're next to each other. It's not that you need it, but also when you bench on this third coast,
Can you save it for the fourth coast?
so let's have a conversation. No,
Why
it's
not?
its own coast. I mean, you have to do it the right way.
All right, you're benching on the coast, but just like the same way
when you're benching,
you could save the like by shalosh shudas, you could
Yes.
save the coast for like after shalosh shus for Abdullah. So why can't
that's
you
all
go ahead?
different. That you can't drink it because that's an isser. Over here, it's established to drink it. Let me ask you a question: when you bench on the third coast, you need to hold the coast the whole time?
Probably up until
Wait, so why do you need to hold it? According to you, you go back without a coast. So what are you gonna hold? You're gonna hold the air? Oh, something to think about. By the way, when we say you need to hold the coast, everyone needs to, or just the person leading the benching? Usually we say just but over here the pshat is there's a connection. If you take a look at the Dirsha Mishnah Brew, they discuss all this. But first we have to learn the actual Mishnah Brew.
Cool.
The Beis Yosef comes along. That's the opening sessions on a new siman. I mean, this is a relatively short siman. It's really only one page in the Mishnah Brew. But I always like throwing out all the questions, get everyone thinking, including myself. Right? I don't remember all this stuff 100%. Gets you thinking. At least I remember the questions. Right? The Beis Yosef over here provides a reason why you're not allowed to drink wine in between the third and fourth cup of wine over here. The Yerushalmi in Psachim towards the end says Kadesh lo yishacher, Kleimer shlo v'yishkoch miligmar sahal. Person's gonna drink a lot. Right over here on the right side, this little thing. Person's gonna drink a lot over here. What's gonna happen?
He'll get drunk.
And if he's gonna get drunk, what's gonna happen?
I'm not going to finish the seder.
I'll tell you what's not gonna happen. You're not gonna say halal. You're not gonna wrap up the seder, which is a major issue. You know, there's a whole Torah how
the percentage of alcohol.
Hashem made it in a way that Pesach. Why isn't the Seder on the last days of Pesach? Everyone is well rested. Give the accountants a break because the deadline always falls out on
That's
Pesach.
when Yitzias Mitzrayim happened.
Yeah, okay, that's when Yitzias Mitzrayim happened. Correct. That's a simple explanation.
Hold on.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but still, everyone is so tired. There's more preparations. Why didn't Hashem make it? Okay, remember it? It's still the same holiday. You still have the last days. You have Shvi Shel Pesach. That's when you had Kriyas Yamsuf. That's when we were really out and we were really safe. And do it when everyone is well rested physically. Do it. We could already spiritually prepare better for the Seder. You know, before Pesach, how many people are really spiritually preparing properly? Just gonna throw in a little muss over here. Everyone is so worried about the food, about this, about that, all of the arrangements. How much time do people spend on the physical preparations versus the spiritual preparations? Halavai, some people should spend 1% of their time on the spiritual preparations. What do I mean by that? Talking about you go through the Haggadah with the Mafarshim. There's so many Haggadahs. There's so much Torah in the Haggadahs. You go through the halachas that we're learning over here. This is just drops in the ocean that we're doing. We do a couple simanim. We try to do what we could. I mean, eventually we'll finish the whole thing, of course. But you have tremendous halachas. Then you have the sugi and the gemara. You have drush. You have lumdis. There's so much to accomplish. And people, they go into the Seder halachically and hashkafically blinded. What do people do? They quickly look at I look at that footnote, I look at this note in the Haggadah while I'm doing the Seder. That's not preparation. Preparation, you go through it like what we're doing in a systematic way. You figure it out. You say, like we learned yesterday, Halach Manya, why are we inviting Kol Dichvin Yisviich, all the poor people, specifically on Pesach? Oh, we researched the topic, over 20 answers. Most people don't even know one answer because they never went down the road of properly preparing. Anyways, how do we get to that?
I don't get to the note, people
I don't know.
come to the Seder unprepared.
I don't know. We got to that. The point is that what you can't drink in between the third and the fourth.
Drink wine right now.
Oh,
you're saying.
so now we have to figure out what can't you drink. Well, we know what you definitely can't drink wine. Okay, he's just talking about even the wine from the third coast. Once you move on, let's assume that, right? So now you can't drink more wine. Okay, so now let's say someone has a big coast. We're not going to cover this question, but maybe is there an idea of not having a 10-ounce cup? They could take 10 ounces, right? So I'll have to figure that out another
We
time.
should wait.
But
We should talk about a little bit of the alcohol too. Like if what's the best what's the best hit or mitzvah for alcohol? Is it a
yeah,
stronger alcohol?
yeah, that's going to be some in tough iron bays if you're more interested. We're not going to cover it this year, but we have the recordings there a little bit. We touched upon that a little bit. I tell you in short, towards the end of the sermon, we discussed if you want to know what wine to use in alcohol, you go with red wine. That's the best. Red for
What
many
what
reasons.
but Matuko and strong red wines. They're both red wines.
Yeah, red wine, anything that you enjoy more, you should go with.
You could use
Well, no,
red wine.
4.5% versus 14%.
Yeah, I think for a male of our age, uh, 14% ain't gonna do anything. You know, the
On an empty
Gemara
stomach.
says in Brachos on Gimel, "Eina koimitz masbias ari." The grasshopper isn't gonna satiate the lion. If you're drinking 14%, 5.5 fluid ounces, let's say, or 6 fluid ounces, you're drinking 2 cups in the beginning, and you have a meal in between with a afikomen and more matzah and everything, and then you have another two. No one's gonna get drunk from drinking 4 cups of 6 fluid ounces worth of 14% wine.
You get
And
people
if you
getting
are, then you probably are incredibly slim and skinny and have a very low tolerance because I think very few people will get drunk from
we
that.
have some of those Seder who
Okay.
gets very lightheaded.
Yeah, the girls, right?
Man.
Man, that's
But
unusual.
I'm sorry, I'm a wimp. I drink
It's
the
unusual.
5%, the Malavasi, and mix it with the Bartanura also.
Okay.
So because it's reddish. And
Okay.
I still get the alcohol.
So the point of the matter is that if you're one of those I'm not gonna call them wimps, but if you're one of those people who has a super duper low tolerance, that's a more positive way of
No, but
calling it.
I think
You know?
you will feel it if you're having a whole glass of wine on an empty stomach.
Right? Yeah, empty stomach, correct, correct. Oh, I know why I wanted to bring that up. What I wanted to say before with the spiritual preparations. That's what I forgot. Why was Pesach specifically on the first days?
Right.
Why is it on the first days? See, you lost. Even everyone lost me. I was too ahead of myself. So
I
my
lost it.
explanation is
I like it though.
because that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Hashem wants us to exert ourselves for Him,
May-
for Torah, for mitzvahs, for the Seder.
Maybe,
Hashem
may,
specifically orchestrated and said that the Seder is going to be at a time when we're incredibly tired. And see, are we just going to collapse on the couch? Or are we going to stay there the entire night and be Mesapeh,
and also maybe
that
you
upset
wouldn't
or
want,
what? Every day we're here 9:15. You join.
maybe
Why not?
maybe wouldn't maybe
Yeah.
people wouldn't enjoy the rest of Yontif if they're preparing for Yontif the whole time.
Yeah.
They're going to be concerned about the Seder the first 7 days, and they won't really
That's a cute idea, but no.
Why not? You're not going to be taking a home road trip if you're getting
You
ready for
don't,
Yontif. You're not.
yeah, you don't need,
Definitely
5 full days to prepare,
six,
all that stuff.
6. You need more.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I'm
no,
saying
no,
no.
no, but very cute. Nice try. Nice try.
I don't know. I'm speaking for myself.
He's saying the reason
Yeah.
that you should have more wine for the shtaka. Isn't there another
Yeah.
reason it shouldn't look like a yabukoso?
Oh, we'll come back to that. There's an idea
What
there.
was it
We'll
called?
come back to that also. We're gonna get there. We had to
What was
just
it? What
deal
was
with
that?
our tangents. I don't think he's gonna come.
No, he's not.
He's finished.
He's going,
What?
oh, he's going to the million now.
No, in general, in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did Sean say?
So far, we're averaging, I think, one recruit every 6 years. All right. So we got another 4 years, maybe we'll.
I think I'm my eighth now.
Eighth year?
Well, no,
No, we have, but then they left. I
Oh,
wouldn't I wouldn't call it ding dong ditch, but it was, they didn't stay for the main course.
Ding dong bitch.
Ding dong ditch.
What?
Yeah, you ding dong. They come in, they make a little noise, and then they ditch and they leave. You know what ding dong ditch is?
No.
You don't? Oh my goodness. The Yerushalmi in Brachos says, and it's quoted in the Bavli. Rashi quotes it on Daled Amud Aleph. When a person, when he call it D cubed, when he davens Birchas Kriya Shema,
Yeah.
he says Birchas Kriya Shema Shema, and he's right before Shemona Esrei. He's about to start Shemona Esrei, and then he says, "No, Yankala, where are you going for Pesach?" He starts schmoozing. So the Yerushalmi says, Rashi quotes this in short. Yerushalmi Brachos is a great Masechta also, by the way. I learned it with the Chavrusa, was a great Masechta. So the Yerushalmi says this is similar to someone, guy knocks on the king's palace. He somehow, for some way, he gets to the door.
Gets to the door, then
The
he
king comes
and then
out,
he
but he
goes
was
away.
hot. No, he was hiding in the bushes before the king comes out. So the guy's laughing. The king came. I got him. Ding dong ditch.
Got it.
Ding dong ditch. D cube. So he says that's what it's like when a person starts schmoozing before trying a terrible thing. So anyways, so I'm using that and then tying it into. Yeah, okay.
Got it.
All right. They make a little noise and they leave. Okay. The Bach comes along and says, yeah, it's a Mishnah Psachim that says you don't drink between the third and the fourth kos. So it says there. So the Torah writes, don't drink wine. So it's implied from there that other beverages you could. You want to join us? We're learning some Torah Kedosh about the Seder. The third kos.
He's looking for a minion.
They look for tag. They look for tag.
Okay.
Okay. So it's implied from over there. You gotta have a good time. Now I'm gonna do that to everyone. You think it'll work? Who knows, maybe. You never know. Running out of time. That's the story of my life. Running out of time. We have limited time in Olam Hazeh.
Hi.
Only most people realize it when they're in their deathbed. That's the problem. Okay, but other people, what's the shot over here? I always like saying, you ever go to where your wife goes to the grocery store, there's this, you look at it, oh boy, $300.
Yeah.
And you see the whole receipt. Take that receipt, cut it in half. That's how much of our life is finished. We ain't getting it back.
Wow.
Right, the
Yep.
Kazakh. Got to think about. We got to utilize it. We got to utilize. Yeah, that's right. Got to utilize. What do you mean? 120? Okay, no. Okay, no. So, anyways, you can make a diak from that. You could say, wait a second. It says over there that you can't drink what? It says you can't drink wine, which is implied that other beverages you are allowed to drink. Why? Because the Yerushalmi says that you don't get drunk, which is only with wine, but not water. So we clearly see from the Bach over here, what are you not allowed to drink between the third and the fourth kos? That's intoxicating beverages. However, if it is a non-alcoholic beverage, it would in fact be permissible. You see, this is an example that I like using when you learn halacha. You don't just learn stringencies. You learn, I wouldn't even call it a leniency. You learn what is 100% permissible, which you would have thought was a big no-no. Yeah. The Mordechai said, yeah.
When we say mayim, are we saying like halachically when we learned Havdalah, but Moshe Zal said soda, like Coke, is mayim.
No,
right?
no. This specifically, according to this reason, it's something that is non-alcoholic would be permissible. That's the reason according to this reason. Yeah, anything that doesn't have alcohol.
Right.
Yeah. But hold it. Not so fast. The Mordechai writes, Hatam shelo yishta bein shlishul revim yishum demechsi kemoisif al arba kaisis. You know why you're not allowed to drink between the third and the fourth cup? Because it looks like you're adding onto the cup. Morning. Came to join us? This is we're learning Torah Hakadosh about the Seder, the third course in particular.
Okay.
You don't want to join? Not right now? Okay, well if you do, we'll be here tomorrow 9:15 also. You can join us then. All right, have a wonderful day. In terms of social cues, I've never read a bigger no on my face, if I can imagine. Okay, nice guy though. Yeah. It's Mexican. You gotta have a good time. It's Mexican. Maybe we'll get more views also. People like the entertainment.
They like the in and outs.
You know what we should do? We should get a camera facing that way so you should see the expression until someone sues you for all the reaction. It's all good. Public area, you can probably can't sue them. Like, I don't know. I speak to one of my covers. He's a lawyer. Probably not. What's the problem? You could video someone. They came to you. They came right up to you with a public area. Okay, that's it. So we should really change something. We'll just pretend that we're learning, and we'll just video people's. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the point is that what? It looks like you're adding to the cups. If you're gonna drink in between the third and the fourth, it looks like you're adding. Mexican moisiv al arba kaisis, which is a problem. So now we have to figure out. Does that apply now to all beverages you're not allowed to drink? Yeah, what to think about over here. Oh, you need to say, says the who's this, the Bach? Says the Bach based on this Mordechai, that between the first and the second and the third cups, people regularly drink. Between the first and the second, people drink it. It's like you even go out now to restaurants or whatever. You give a drink before by the appetizer. I don't know whether they do it before the main or before the appetizer. They do it somewhere before the main though. You have the cocktail. I think they even do it before the appetizer. It just comes out quick. You don't need to cook anything. The appetizer need to go. They just do it. Why? Because it could even bring an appetite. Cause an appetite. So people regularly drink similarly between the second and the third. People are in a suda. People are drinking. It doesn't look like you're adding to the cups of wine. Conversely, between the third and the fourth, that's more of a halachic issue. Then he says, even according to this reasoning of the Mordechai, water is permissible. Specifically, alcoholic beverages would be prohibited because it looks like Zok the Mordechai moisif ala koisef. Mechsi ke moisif ala koisef. Looks like you're adding. However, if it's other non-alcoholic beverages, then it's fine. So that basically, in a nutshell, is the tour, what I thought was worthwhile to go. And you have these longer Beis Yosefs over here. No, the Beis Yosef, not so long. You have this long back at the end. I figured it better not to. Let's take a look at the Shulchan Aruch with the remaining few minutes that we have. I don't think anything was added. So let's just see what was highlighted. We're not even going to do the Shulchan Aruch, just a Mefarshim. I might have even not highlighted anything, so I don't even think we got to do anything. Wait a second. This is the wrong siman. Oh boy. This is tough finding Dalit over here. Looks like I messed something up. Oh, that's because we were in Tafai and Dalit. Why were we in that siman? Okay, Shulchan Aruch over here. That was bizarre. Why are there only one page? Wow, I really messed up. These PDF files. Okay, you could tell I was half asleep when I did this. Yeah. I don't know. I thought I underlined something. Okay. All right. All right, I didn't fake out. All right, so we'll pick it up. Wait, why is this 4 PDF files? I really messed up here. Okay, anyways, so tomorrow we will continue this with the actual halacha lamaisa. Today was kind of whetting the appetite, as they say. And tomorrow we'll continue with the Mishnah. We'll try to come up to all the conclusions, all the questions that we asked. Good? All right. Everyone should have a wonderful day.
Have a good day.
All right.